Well, I definitely agree that healing process is not only long, but it's complicated and complex
Yeah.
because whether we're talking about what's happening and has happened in South Africa, just like here in this country, um, we have to remember that there are stages and there are phases.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that this discussion about South Africa has made me realize is, in the United States right now, of course, lots of examples of racism and our bigotry and some of our leaders being exposed. And that has actually brought South Africa into the discussion in a way that I wouldn't have predicted. For, I and a lot of African Americans and a lot of white Americans that fought against apartheid in as much as we could here in the United States during apartheid, obviously understand what's going on and follow it. But because the new conservative movement in the US has championed the issue, but from the side of now whites are being oppressed by their narrative. You have on one of our biggest cable network, Fox News, which is very favorable to the president and the Republican Party. I was so shocked that I'm an internationally focused American, but most Americans, or a lot of Americans, aren't, that they're having debates about what's going on in South Africa. But here was the problem. Their debate started about 2 years ago. I watched a whole segment and they didn't even talk about apartheid. They talked about the fact that this was another example of how cancel culture, as they call it, is having repercussions against white people. And so I'll tell you from the US perspective, just reminded me, one, we all need to know our history. And two, we need to recognize that our history just isn't what happened here. And I'm here being in Washington, but what happens all over the world. So I think that in ways that I wouldn't have predicted, the progress that we're seeing and the progress that still remains to be seen in South Africa affects me here, because that is a part of our global conversation on racism and how we deal with it.
Thank you so much for that. That was really an amazing answer. Thank you so much.
It is not something that can heal just like that. Fine, it's been decades, yes. It's been a couple of years now. You can imagine the number of people who died during the apartheid, school children who were shot dead, all in the name of trying to access education. And so a whole lot of things happened. There are people who were killed, in this process. So healing is a gradual process. It is not something that can just come over time, But I think what the South Africans should have done, so to say, is to see other Africans as one, particularly those who contributed largely to supporting the anti-apartheid campaign movement. A couple of that should be like a few years back, like 2 years ago or thereabout. Of course, we heard of racial issue where the South Africans were attacking some other nationals from other part of Africa, and then it raised a very serious argument that why should this happen? Why should the South Africans be attacking other blacks? So it shows that beyond the white, the black racial discrimination, there is still some sort of discrimination, among the blacks. So I strongly believe that it's a continuous process. The African Union has a very serious role to play, and civil society organizations also have very important role to play, so that the whole atrocities committed during the apartheid can be pushed to the back, permanently, So thank you.
I mean, beyond that, we also have these issues in the, the education system, the housing system, the sports system. It's something that happens, and people begin to question and ask, will this ever stop in South Africa? But anyways, I just hope that we're able to come to a conclusion with that. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.